Are we going?
And welcome to the World Championship Formula One motor racing extraordinaire round 11. I'm guessing 11 at Hungary. Whoever Gary the Hun is, he's fucking designed a perfect circuit, and they call it the go-kart circuit, not because not because it's designed for go-karts. No, that's not the reason. It's because it's small. They call it the second Monaco. Monaco without walls. It's nothing like Monaco. It does have some walls, mainly down the straight. I think it was, who was it that found that out? Barrichello? When Schumacher almost ran him into the wall? Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Could have been a different circuit. Oh, you muted Fabio because I muted you. I will unmute you now so you can comment back and tell me I'm wrong.
No, I mean, Perez did recently.
Well, Perez did recently. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I've also been using. Okay, yeah. No worries. Okay, so look, we're going to get on with the show because we need to rattle through this. I haven't told Lucky this, but in fact, we need to keep it to under an hour today. So I need you to be snappy, as I will be. Okay, so firstly, the race review. Fantastic. McLaren did real well. And there we go. That's about it, really. A fantastic pole by Lewis, 0.003 of a second. I don't know. I heard in the press somebody saying that Red Bull made Mercedes look like an F2 team. If that's an F2 team in Formula One, I'll be very shocked if an F1-2 car could get pole. But nonetheless, there have been some stupid things said in the press recently, mainly about Lewis. What Lando apparently whinging about Lewis, saying he's always complaining. It's a British thing. What can I say? We whinge. Yeah, I know you laugh. Like, you shouldn't laugh, man. Why are you always laughing? It's a British thing, whinging. Yeah, that's how it goes. You are muted. Sorry, Lucky. I muted you because you coughed at the intro. So
I do apologise for that.
yeah, I'm complaining again. That's all I'm doing. I'm just complaining to prove
You're
the point.
British. We don't want to do that.
Thank you very much, Lucky. I appreciate you. I really do appreciate you. Anyway, look, just to say, Lando said some things. He accidentally, as I've displayed. By the way, Lando came second. I don't want to put the spoiler out there too soon, but in fact, Lando came second.
Well, can I? Oh shit! You've just okay. See, this is why we should plan because. We should plan because I had a good opening for that trophy joke.
Okay, well
and I just put a video link in, but it doesn't matter.
I saw. Do you want to be?
He's making the race recap, and he wants to be snappy. Let it be snappy.
My turn to complain.
I'm trying to.
Yeah,
I'm not going to complain about everybody stopping me, but I am complaining. It's just going to make it longer. That's all. I blame everybody else, but then that's what I would do. That's because Lewis. Anyway, look, Lando complained about Lewis. Lando complained about Max putting the trophy down where he did. I'm going to share that now, actually. Why not? Why the fuck not?
Well, if you share that video that I just put...
Shut up!
Yeah, I'm sharing it now. Here goes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. doesn't give two fucks about it.
Ellie doesn't give two fucks about it, really. I think he did. I think he was embarrassed, but like most people, when they're embarrassed, they just shrug it off. That's the thing that the kids do these days. But he broke a record, something like that.
Taken from us too soon. The Winners' Trophy 2023 Hungary Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Always in our hearts.
And also,
Actually,
I like the way he blamed Max, actually. I thought that was quite classy.
It's not the first time he does that, by the way.
Isn't it?
No,
he did the same thing in Silverstone.
He is clumsy. He is clumsy.
Well, he's clumsy with other people's trophies because in Silverstone, he broke, I think, the Verstappen trophy again. So
again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Run with scissors, that's for sure.
I try to find. I mute myself and try to find the video. So
yeah,
you
thanks.
can carry on and be snappy.
Snappy. I will be snappy. Don't burn your dick there. Okay, so being snappy now. So the race went on. Lewis, pole position, Max Verstappen second place. The only time that Lewis is going to get on the pole is at Hungary. It's a specialist track for him. However, all weekend, looking at the other races, Formula 2, Formula 3, second place has got a blinding start. So there was no doubt in my mind that Max, in fact, would get in first place in the first corner. And that is what happened. He then, as usual, drove away to a masterful, I say masterful, I mean a maximum result of first place from there to the end of the race. He didn't even under the fact that the tyres that the Pirelli bought were the softest of the soft, and so it possibly gave people a two-stop strategy. Max still didn't get behind anybody in the two-stop strategy because he simply outlasted everybody because he wasn't driving full pace, and just stayed ahead through the whole race. It was an easy win at Hungary. That's quite surprising because normally it's never like that, but nonetheless. Kind of reminded me of Schumacher back in the day, really. Anyway, Lando got second place from Lewis in the first corner, as well as Piastri taking third place. Lewis fell back to fourth place. And then it was just about trying to maintain positions. The only real slight, what's the word I'm looking for? Controversy, really. In fact, Piastri was in second place and Lando was in third place. And that led to the controversy of McLaren pitting Lando first to give him the undercut, which meant he overtook Piastri and claimed second place on the podium. And Perez, of course, starting at 18th, maybe, something like that, managed to work his way through the field with the best car and get up to third place eventually, which was a great result for him and well needed, shall we just say that? Very, very well needed. Fabio's just given me the bit, so I am going to share that straight away. This is apparently, I don't know, I've only been told, this is Lando Norris doing his usual, what can we say, his usual bit on the podium. Oh, he did.
Yeah, I know, he did. 2 weeks ago in Silverstone.
And Max is going for the trophy because he cares about it.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, and what music was that, Fabio? What music was that? Dun, 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 dun.
I think somebody needs to tell Lando that trophy lives matter.
Trophy lives matter. Oh dear.
Not to remember the name. It's
Yeah. Okay. What's Jill here? Jill's here. Thank you very much, Jill. Anyone who does not love remains in death. Somewhat reminiscent of the words of Jesus in John. I didn't know Jesus was in John, but if you're saying he did, then that's fine.
Jesus was in John?
Yeah, that's what Jill's saying.
Oh my goodness!
Jesus was in John. Okay, there we go. I didn't know they allowed that kind of thing back then, but there we go. And we got an old friend An old friend, but a friend nonetheless. Benna Berry.
Been a Berry from Australia.
Yeah. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you, Jill, for popping by as well. Okay, so onwards with the show. What did we get to? So I think I've finished my race review because the finishing position, I'm not even going to look at the screen. Finishing positions were Max Verstappen. I don't know how I know that. Second place, Lando Norris. Third place, Perez. Fourth place, Hamilton. Fifth place, Piastri. Sixth place, Leclerc. I don't know after that. Was it? I don't know. I'm making shit up. Fabio,
Yeah, okay, because I think it was 7th.
Was it? Okay, fair enough.
I think.
Leclerc,
No,
Sainz, Alonso, Stroll, Albon, Bottas, Ricardo, Hulkenberg,
Fucking
Tsunoda,
Bottas.
fucking Bottas,
Fucking Bottas.
Zhu Guan, Kevin, Suck My Balls Magnussen, Logan Sargent, Albon and Gasly.
Yeah. It's actually Logan. It's Logan Sargent.
Sargent.
Logan, yeah. Anyway, look, that's the race review. I'm not going to bother because it was actually a fairly boring race. I was expecting a lot more because of the pit strategies and them taking the softest tyres. But as usual, these Pirellis are not giving us the races that we used to get. So there you go. What can we say? We got a comment here. I have to get a person called Die Hard to sub. He loves F1. We'd love to have him here. Please do it. We have cookies. We do have cookies. We will pass them out. We might even get him on at the end of one of the shows if he's really a huge aficionado, Benner. So tell him that. Die ahead. Sounds like a nice guy. Anyway, I'm going to pass it over straight to Fabio for his race review, which will be probably a lot quicker than mine. So over to you, Fabio.
So great things in qualifying. It was a very nice qualifying, new format. So they had to use hard tires for Q1, medium tires on Q2, and soft tires on Q3. That brought some really interesting, shenanigans, like Guangzhou, which qualified really good. And Russell got out, and as you mentioned, Lewis got the pole for just a smidge. Other than that, the race was pretty boring. Lewis made a terrible start, like really bad start. Max Verstappen, was able to close by and just, got him at the first corner. In the back, Zhu couldn't find the clutch or whatever. It just stalled, and that goes up. But he managed to redeem himself by running into Ricciardo, which took away both the Alpine, which was interesting to see. By the way, Ricciardo was back. Really nice race, if you ask me. I mean, it was just back in F1. Really terrible start. It was last after the first corner because of the accident, and he managed to get in a fairly good position. The Alphas were really disappointing, both because of the bad start from Guangzhou and Bottas. That's it. I'll just leave it there. Other than that, really boring race. Mistakes were made by Ferrari at the pit. They had the problem with the pistol, changing the tire. Red Bull made a fantastic tire change, 1.9. I mean, the fact that I'm talking about the time that it took to make the tire change should give you a rough idea how boring the race was, right? I mean, so the only thing I would say about the race was that at a certain moment, all of a sudden, Max Verstappen scored a 1 minute 20 something lap time. And that was while everybody else on fresher tires than him were running like 122, 121 high. Somebody was running 123. He just made a 120 out of fucking nowhere. That shows what we've been saying, for quite some time, that that basically there are two things. Well, first of all, Max Verstappen is racing a different championship to all the other ones, and this is where actually you mentioned. This is where Toto Wolff said, "Well, Max Verstappen is racing F1. Everybody else is racing an F2." That was the moment, and I think it was right, because when you're lapping 2 seconds faster than everybody fucking else, this is something just to be, well, not even worried. You just fuck it, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, on levels, right? This is worse than Fernando Alonso's amateur F2 engine, right? This is Toto saying not just the engine is shit, right? He's saying the fucking cars are shit. Oh dear, that's what you can get away with if you're a team owner, right?
Yeah, I mean the comparison is right. I mean the guy was racing a different category. There's no way around it.
Not the first time in Formula One it's happened, but nonetheless.
But anyway, that really showed, because it really happened in like, out of the blue, whatever. Russell asked, to change tires. They said, no, we're going to lose position. What they didn't tell you on the radio was that, listen, you can put whatever tires you want. You'll never be able to make 120. That deal is done. That is done. So yeah, there was that. What else? Alonso complaining about the tires, and I think it might have some reasons, but it's not Pirelli's fault. If you want, I can elaborate on that. I think there are some issues there with Aston Martin and the tires. They haven't found the right setup for those kind of tires. But I'm not going to blame Pirelli for the tires, mainly for one reason. The reason why Pirelli went and put and get new tires, it's totally the team's fault. So the thing is that they reached a downforce which they were supposed to reach at the end of the season. So Pirelli had to put new tires because the forces that those tires were subjected to were not predicted to happen up until the end of the season, and this is why. And the reason is because the teams gave fucked up simulations to Pirelli. They said, the way we're running, we're gonna have this kind of downforce by the end of the season. Actually, they had the downforce they predicted that they were going to have to the end of the season in Australia. So Pirelli was forced to put new tires on because otherwise their tires would have exploded.
Yeah.
So
well,
I mean,
I'd like you just to comment quickly on one other thing, which is, do you think that them bringing the softest tires, right, which clearly, the soft tires weren't even used in the race. Oh, they think they were used in the race by one car, which ended up just dropping back. So the soft tires were definitely too soft for racing. And of course, they were only used in Q3 effectively. Do you think that the choice of them to bring the softest of the soft tires was down to the new format, that they recognized that if they brought slightly harder tires, then that would cause more chaos in qualifying?
I think they brought that kind of tires. No, I think you're right. I think it was because of the format, but the results of the fact that Hungary is not a track for soft tires anyway. So if they have to bring soft tires, they might as well thought about them for the qualifying and not for the race, because they knew that nobody was going to use them in the race. So
yeah. I mean, somebody tried. Somebody did try, didn't they?
But again,
Perez or something. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I guess it works on a Red Bull, but not any other car.
Well,
so there you go.
Again,
okay. Thank you so much.
We're talking about different categories, so
yeah. Fuck off. That's just bullshit. Fucking Toto trying to get in the news. Bollocks to that. Okay, I'm gonna.
I think he was actually on point. So yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it's we've had big gaps before, right? The Mercedes has been that far ahead, so it's a bit rich coming from Toto. But nonetheless, no problem. I accept the criticism. Yeah, GP2 engine, GP2 engine.
I
GP2.
think Toto's going down the Christian Horder, try and get some sympathy route. That's what it sounds like.
I was just whinging, like with Lando. It was whinging, complaining about Lewis whinging. I mean, he's just whinging. It's ridiculous. Anyway, there you go. Hang on a sec. Howdy, just listening. Thank you very much, Diehead. Welcome here. Sorry, agreeing with most of what's being said. Unbelievable. Okay, so yeah.
Right.
You're agreeing with Fabio. Okay.
I like this guy already. So yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Diehead better tell us who he supports, what team or driver he supports.
Yes, yeah. If you wouldn't mind telling us, that's good.
Tell us.
How about Lando destroying Max Trophy? Yes, we have a thing here which I'll just address that. Okay, let me just take the comment off. There we go. Lando breaks another record at Hungary. That's the second time, Fabio. You weren't here, but Fabio played something earlier, which was Lando breaking the trophy from Silverstone. Or it didn't break; it just fell off the podium. Yeah,
he tried.
Yeah, he tried to break it.
I mean, so that in Silverstone it was a general, try, and then he perfected.
He perfected it, yeah, on the expensive one. Okay, look, fair enough. Thank you very much, Ryan. If you could just tell us in chat who you support, that would be good. Personally, I'm Williams, Fabio, or Mercedes in the moment because it's Lewis. Was a Vettel fan. That's fair enough. Yeah. I tend to hate Max. Okay, you're in good company. I was really happy for Fernando this season. Yes. Thank you very much. Was a Vettel fan. Okay, yeah, I think Fabio. We've all come to respect Fabio, and if you click on that link, you will see Lando destroying.
That was the Silverstone one.
Yeah, hello, Sucheko. He has been a big disappointment. Yeah, if you look back over the last, I think it was last races thing, you'll see the thumbnail. Okay, look, I want to throw it over. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I mean, do you want to talk about Ferrari and McLaren?
No, I don't. What I want to do is throw it over to Lucky for his race review quickly.
It was fucking dull, wasn't it? Okay, we'll start with Logan Sargent and his escapades this weekend.
The reporter, Logan Sargent.
Logan Sargent qualified last, binned it on the 67th lap. Oh, Logan, what are you doing? Anyway, moving on from that. Red Bull now have the record for most wins in a season at 12. Verstappen's got himself up to 44 wins now in his career. And his winning margin this weekend was the biggest of this season. Did you hear the team radio of Verstappen on the cool-down lap?
No, I didn't.
It sounded, he was talking like he'd been out with a drive in the countryside with his girlfriend and her baby. He said that was a really enjoyable drive. No complaints, absolutely nothing. And in my day, when a Grand Prix driver had done a race, you could tell he sounded like he'd been to the shops for some milk and just come back. It's a completely different ballgame at Red Bull at the moment. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any change. The rest of the teams they seem to be taking turns each weekend at having a good go at it. One team has a good go at it. And the next week, and the scooter goes past. Yeah, it's getting a bit farcical up at the front, to be honest with you. And what else can you say? Lewis was catching Perez hand over fist. Perez was lucky to hang on to that place. And poor Perez is getting crucified by the fans. I was watching some of the watch along YouTube things at work on Saturday afternoon. He is just being obliterated by fans. And I'm starting to feel a bit sorry for him. Despite the millions he gets, he's just getting crucified. And what else was there to say? That's about it. Forget it. That's the race. There was nothing else of interest that happened, was it? Apart from the trophy, of course, which we already spoke about.
Okay, should we talk about McLaren and Ferrari now?
Shit, I'm muted. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I'm muted.
Yeah.
From a constructor's, let me just read this out. Let me read this out, please. From a constructor's perspective, I like Red Bull. From a driver's perspective, I like Fernando, and I'm glad Daniel is back. So say all of us. Hate Stroll, Fabio. I think you may agree there. Hate Sainz, not so much. We like Sainz, but he's not really pulling his weight. Russell is too cocky. Yeah, he is very English reserved. I like Lewis, but I'm glad he's not winning. Oh, I read that first as whinging. So, no, obviously he's always whinging. But I like Lewis as well, of course. Thank you so much. Okay. Go ahead. So you were going to say, Lucky. Lucky? 1, 2, 1, 2. Can you hear me, Fabio?
Yes.
We can't hear you, Lucky. Okay. You were going to say something as well.
Who?
You were going to say something. I can tell from what you just wrote that Simons is not going to be your greater fan. I don't know. I don't mind. I don't mind. Oh, he got disconnected. He got disconnected. That's what the problem was.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Let's get rid of that. And it's probably that one. Yep, there we go. Are you back?
I'm back.
Okay, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, something very, very quick. Daniel Ricciardo, he's also back. Outqualified his teammate. And he's back. So there we go.
Sorry, could you say that again? Because I removed the wrong person from the stream.
You removed it. Okay. Daniel Ricciardo is also back. He outqualified his teammate. He outraced him and everything. He did everything better than his teammate, and he's back. There you go.
And he is well and truly back. I was dead happy about that for sure. One of those things.
I mean, the fact that Ricciardo was back definitely put some fire under Perez's ass.
Oh, did it ever?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could tell at the end of the race he was dead pleased with himself as well.
Yeah.
Although third, I don't think Christian Horner was quite as dead pleased with him.
No. Also because he crashed his car the first day, so that didn't really start really well.
Yeah, of course, because there was this thing, right? So this is something else I was going to talk about. Let me just put us all back on. This is one of the things that I was going to talk about, which was there's been a few rumours about cost cap, and Christian Horner had said no, they're easily within cost cap this year. We haven't had the same number of crashes we've had in previous years. And of course, Perez has been trashing the car.
So there is a video out there. I haven't got it, but there is a video there of Christian Horner walking with Suleiman whatever.
Yeah, Al-Fayed Hamid.
Yeah, Al-Fayed thingy.
Hamid, yeah.
Walking in the paddock. Apparently talking about the cost cap, and it's a very long video where they have a really long conversation. So there are rumors right now that there is, I think at least, I can't remember if 5 or 7 teams which are not really okay. Like 5 of them are okay.
7 are okay. 3 aren't.
I think it's more than 3, but I think it's 5. But yeah,
that's the rumor I've heard. 7 are okay, 3 aren't, and of course we can guess which 3 it is. I've done a bit of a deep dive into this, Fabio.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to hear the explanations that I've managed to wheedle up, I've been around the UK because they're all based in UK. So I'll start with Red Bull. No, Red Bull, apparently what they've had to do is they've had to pay for extra medical bills this year. It's
Okay.
they've had to pay for medical bills, people's treatment in the team, because they cut back on catering. Everybody's been drinking a lot of Red Bull to
Yeah.
make up for that, and therefore, and a lot of people have suffered from diarrhea problems. So they've had to now send a lot of their staff off for medical procedures to try and deal with that. So that's the reason. That's the excuse that they're giving. Is
Oh,
medical bills have gone up this year for them. Go ahead.
but sorry. By the way, talking about Red Bull, the beverage, there
Yeah.
is nothing worse than drinking a Red Bull which is at room temperature, which is
No,
not
well, there's
good.
nothing. There's not a lot worse than drinking a Red Bull. Full stop. To be fair.
Yeah, but no, there is something worse than drinking a Red Bull. Is
Oh yeah,
drinking a
there is
Red Bull
actually.
at room temperature.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's fucking insane. I've
Yeah,
had
that's true.
I've had a lot of them. You know, while we were racing.
Mhm.
I can't remember. I think it was in Czech Republic or whatever. That the fridge wasn't working, but we had to drink something, and we had Red Bull given to us. And
Yeah.
believe me, it's
horrible.
it's really bad.
Okay.
It's really bad.
So I can think of something other worse than a Red Bull at room temperature. Red Bull, Fabio, do you know what that is?
It's the
Yes, you're absolutely right.
no, I can't remember.
I'm going to say the punchline. I know
Yeah.
you know. Yes, with Stag.
Yeah.
Stag. Rich
Yeah.
energy at room temperature
Yeah.
is of course worse.
Yeah.
But there we go. I would have pulled out one of the cans, but it's in the spare room. So there you go. Okay, so that's Red Bull. They're having to pay for extra medical costs for their staff because they had to cut back on catering. Mercedes have explained it like this: because they're basically a German manufacturer, they've had to hire extra comedy writers because they've got no sense of humor. So they've spent a fortune on comedy writers this year, and that apparently has pushed them over the limit of their cost cap. And of course, McLaren. Sorry, go ahead. You're going to say something onto that.
No, I was going to say that German humor is no laughing matters.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. Only rich energy was a scam of a drink. I'm the US. I've never seen one. Yeah, I had to wait 3 months for delivery of mine. Anyway, there you go. Sorry, McLaren. I had come up with one for McLaren as well, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, McLaren have had to hire babysitters. They've had to hire several babysitters to deal with Lando and Piastri. So that's why they have gone over the cost cap. But there we go. I'm sure that'll all get sorted out for next season and everything will be back on track. Also, the other thing which has come up, which we mentioned last time Red Bull got done for cost cap, Fabio, which was Helmut Marko is not a member of Red Bull. Apparently,
Is it?
He's not. No, he's not in the top 3 excluded staff members excluded.
Oh
from
yeah. It's a fucking.
and he's not in the cost cap, so therefore he's
right.
not a member. Acne cream.
I know.
That's another reason that McLaren could have gone over. Yes.
He's apparently doing that out of the goodwill of his heart.
Yes. He's
Which
just.
we all know, Helmut Marko is a very heartwarming person. And
He is. He's very considerate. He's always first to help people and console them. You know, he never causes drama. Anyway, never causes drama. Okay, so thank you. That's kind of what I had to say. I'd like to now move on if we possibly can. Has either of you got anything to say further about?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comparison between McLaren and Ferrari, and be really short.
Go ahead, yeah, please.
So when the season started, the technical director in McLaren, Andrea Stella, said, with no uncertain terms, our car is shit. We just fucked it, and you're gonna see the real car in Silverstone. If you see, I think that Lando got 3 or 4 times. He ended up like 17th I would say I'm sure about 3, maybe 4. And then all of a sudden, ever since Silverstone, he got 2 times second, and I can't remember, maybe 4th, the other race, stuff like that. So this is the kind of team that understands why the car is not working. He realizes that. And it has nothing to do with the time, with the allotted time on the wind tunnel and all that shit. I mean, you can have all the time you want in the wind tunnel. If you don't have any ideas and you don't know why it's not working, you can spend, your life in the wind tunnel. You never get out of it. But so McLaren was really focused. They knew why the car was bad. They said, okay, we're going to deliver a new car in Silverstone. This is what's going to happen. They actually delivered the new car a race before only for Lando. And we saw the improvements on the McLaren. The McLaren, he has the same engine than the Mercedes. And again, Mercedes is another team that when they were getting, good results, Toto Wolff said, our car is shit. We're going to change it. So, but, last race we saw the Mercedes with the same engine the McLaren with the same engine as the Mercedes. The Mercedes couldn't even get close to the McLaren. That is the idea of a team which knows what happens, right? He focuses on the problem, he recognizes the problem, and he knows why the car is bad. On the other end, we have Ferrari. Ferrari right now has a car which is it's terrible in qualifying. It doesn't handle. I mean, if you see the camera car, it handles really bad in qualifying, which was a strong point of last year's car. During the race, it handles really well. It's a car which handles really well. The problem is that it still destroys the tires and it's really slow. And my thought and my fear is that in Ferrari right now they have no fucking idea whatsoever why the car is so bad, which is worse than figuring out that your car is bad. It's like the cold Red Bull and the hot Red Bull. They're all shit, but one it's really, really, really bad. And I think that Ferrari right now is in the situation where they have no fucking idea why the car is so bad. They had a nice car last year. They had a nice car last year, but just remember that last year, 2 years before, they decided, we're gonna scratch all the development. We're gonna work on the new car. So when they started the season last year, they had a very competitive car, but they were like 6 months ahead of everybody else, in starting the car. And then everybody catched up, and the car didn't deliver really good. This year is worse because the car started bad, and it's getting worse. It seems to be that whatever they bring, it doesn't work. And I think that the main reason is that they don't know what to bring. They don't know if it's aero. They don't know if it's mechanic. They have no idea, and this is really, really, really worrying.
Right. So you're basically saying here that Ferrari are a bad case of Fabio's law. Would you say?
I kind of do. There is something worse than that. The only thing that they changed from last year was Vasseur. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the only thing that Vasseur can do, because Vasseur is not technical, is soberizing Ferrari right now with his management.
Yeah.
And the only thing that Vasseur can do is actually hire people. Okay. And everybody is really hyped by the fact that he's going to hire people. He said he's going to hire a new top engineer, which is going to be Serra, which is coming from Mercedes, but he's not making the vehicle. It's somebody on the engine. So again, also keep in mind one thing: when Schumacher was racing, Ross Brown came, and even John Barnard, when they came, After 1 week, they were in the office in Maranello, making new cars. Right now, if you hire somebody, there is at least a 5 to 7 months of gardening period, meaning that if they find somebody right fucking now in July, this is going to show up not next year, but in 2025.
Yeah, the 26 even. Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm being generous. If they find
Realistically,
somebody now,
26,
right, it's going to be 2025.
Okay.
So
I mean that's all fair enough. Just to say this, that Ferrari realised they'd gone in the wrong direction, or weren't competitive enough. Their car wasn't in the wrong direction. It's just they had to change direction in order to get a more competitive car, because they felt they'd really maxed out on what they had. Right. So there is some sense here that they're searching. Same as Mercedes, right? They went for the zero side pod concept, and that hasn't worked. Right. Clearly, that hasn't worked. So they've now backtracked and gone down a different route in time to get next year's car together. Lewis, of course, saying he's not interested in this year anymore. He's just hoping that he can develop the car for next year. Of course, the rule's not really changing for next year now. So any development you do now on the car is an advantage. And hopefully that will bring the field back together again, at least Red Bull back at somewhat, because people will be able to copy the Red Bull.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, again, the main difference is that compared to what's happening in McLaren and Mercedes, is that it seems to me that McLaren and Mercedes, they've got internal resources to recognize where the problem is and how to change it. And that is something that we've seen, especially in McLaren.
Yeah.
In Ferrari, nobody's saying what the fuck is wrong with the car. And I'm afraid that nobody knows what the fuck is wrong with the car. Now, sorry, just a small personal anecdote here. When I was in Ducati, there was in 2004, maybe the bike was shit. Like really shit, right? There were some people which turned out that they pointed exactly what the problem was, and the problem at the time, I'll be really short, was a problem of it was a flexible chain on the bike. So the bike at the time, they had a chassis, and then they had the engine, which was a stress member, and then they had the rear arm. And the main problem with that bike was the fact that those three components have different torsional and rigidity, and they would behave differently, to same forces applied to it. So they didn't really match up each other. I know for a fact there were at least two people which they pointed out the problem from the get-go, and they were not listened by the
management,
the engineer, the management at the time, and that wasted them like 2 or 3 more years, right? They tried to change the chassis, they tried everything but address the problem. So I'm not saying that in Ferrari right now there is nobody which knows what the problem is. I'm just saying that there is nobody right now which is either is raising, and saying, I know what it is, or there might as well be somebody which knows exactly what the problem is, but the management doesn't care.
Agree.
Or they don't listen to them. And that is really worrying, because we are in July. Last year in July, Leclerc won 2 races, if you remember that. We have 1 year and the car is shit.
Yeah.
So that, and they sacked Binotto, which what I think about Binotto.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But they sacked Binotto anyway, and now they sacked Binotto, and the car is worse than it was.
Yeah.
So it's a big problem that is not going to be solved in 1 year. So
Fabio, would you say that the Ferrari team as it is today is different from the Ferrari team that we saw in the past, in the Schumacher, Villeneuve, Lauda days? It was a team that had passion that would carry them through despite any problems. Is it a change? It's not changed that way.
I wouldn't blame that on the passion. I'm super sure that everybody which is working in Ferrari has the same amount of passion. I've got no doubts about it. If not for the fact that, generally speaking, the people in Ferrari are paid less than every other team in F1. That is something I know for a fact. All the mechanics you see on the pit, if you look at the Ferrari guys, they're paid less than everybody else. Maybe Haas is paid a little bit more, or Alpine, but usually, generally speaking, they're paid less. So there is a high level of passion from everybody there.
Right.
I think that the problem is the management drive and the management vision, which is not there compared to the times where Lada was there, where you had a figure like Paolo Forghieri, one of the biggest engineers in F1 ever, if not the best, compared to the times of Michael Schumacher, where you had the triad, Ross Brown, Jean Todt, and Montezemolo at the head of the helm. Those were three people which are real passionate about it.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. So
Okay. Lucky, is there anything you wanted to say on the race or the teams or the cost cap or anything else?
Not really.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so what I'd like to do then is say thank you very much to Diehead in the chat there. We really appreciate you coming in. If you have any questions at all or things you want to put forward and say, please just write them in chat, and we'd be more than happy to mention it, or at least just flash it up so people can read it.
Are we doing quiz and myth today?
Beg your pardon? Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. Just hold your horses, slow down. I mean, I like to be snappy, but I'm going to give you 15 minutes or so. So no problem.
No, what we'll do is we'll keep it short, because the question is going to be slightly...
Well, I'm not quite ready to do it, though.
Okay. When you're ready.
Thank you. Yep, thank you. Okay, so like I'm saying... oh, my God, it's great. I love it. Thank you, Diehead, for being here. Liters and liters from McLaren. Absolutely. Acne cream is what they really need. Although I would say Lando Norris is becoming a man. That's what I would say. I think he's begun shaving. Don't know about you guys. That's my opinion. Okay, so thank you very much. That was the race in Hungary. I think you'll find, I haven't checked this, guys, but I think Max Verstappen is still leading the championship. Not okay. So there we go. Max Verstappen. Verstappen. Yeah. Okay. There you go. And we will talk about more. When's the next race, Fabio? Do we know when the next race is, Fabio?
Yeah, it's next week in Spa.
In Spa. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Always. We love Spa. Do we love Spa?
We do.
We do love Spa.
Yeah. We do love Spa. Is it going to be on the playlist much longer? Probably not.
I don't know. I hope so.
They're struggling.
They also gonna have a sprint race in Spa. So.
Oh.
It would be a sad day in motor racing history if Spa was off the Formula One calendar.
Right. Could you say that in a little more Scottish accent? Like Jackie Stewart.
Aye. It would be, I can't even remember what I said now.
Yeah, a very sad day.
It would be a sad day in Formula One if Spa was to be taken off the calendar. So it would.
Very, very true, Jackie. Very true. Thank you for that. Okay, look, I'm going to pass it over just to finish up. We go to, at the end, if you don't know Diehead, we have a Formula One myth and quiz. So we usually start with the myth, do we not, Lucky?
Well, we'll forgo the myth this week, okay? Because we're trying down an hour and we've only got like 11 minutes left.
Yes. Okay, no problem. So we'll just do the quiz. So I'd like to just make sure before we start, we give the chat time to answer the question before we say anything, Fabio. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Lucky. Over to you.
I do have an illustrative picture for later on that I'll send you across Discord after the question's been asked. So anyway, today we have 6 drivers. Diehead, just chime in whenever you're ready, Diehead, with any sort of random answers, anything, we don't care. Points are awarded arbitrarily. hopefully not to Fabio, but that's how it'll be. Right. We have 6 drivers' names here. Okay. They are all involved in one particular event. Okay. I'll give you them in pairs. You can have 3 points if you get it off the first pair, 2 points off the second pair, 1 point off the third pair, and it will get easier as the names are given. So we're looking for one single event that unites all these drivers. And your first pair of names are Patrick Freischischer. Is that how you say it? Freischischer?
I don't think it is, but
I don't know, but
yeah. Anyway, carry on. Like Patrick
Freischischer. Patrick Freischischer. That's how you say it, I think.
Okay.
And the pair, second name in the pair would be Christian Albert. So Patrick Freischischer and Christian Albert were involved in this one single event, along with the other 4 drivers to be named. Any guesses?
Single event. You can have as many guesses as you want here, Dithead, as well.
Yeah.
Patrick Freischischer, something like that. His name is. Okay, so it's going to be something like a one-off event.
Yeah.
You know, see that doesn't sound that long ago to me. So I'm going to say it's something.
Yeah.
That long. I'm old. Remember that.
It's certainly within the more. Well, no, it's within the modern era of Formula.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. So I'm trying to think of something like I don't know. Maybe
I'll give you a small. I'll give you a small clue.
No. Let's stick with what you've got. Okay, so I don't know either. Fabio?
I have no idea. Mostly because I have no idea who the fuck they are. I would say just on top of my head, the McLaren scandal of the hard drive and things like that.
It's not that these are actually drivers, by the way. They are drivers.
They're drivers. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe it's something to do with Le Mans. I don't know. Or hang on. Didn't there used to be? Yes. Okay. It's maybe coming to me. There used to be classic Formula One racing, didn't there?
No. There did, but that's not what.
That's not it. Okay. Carry on. Let's have the next one.
I will make things perhaps slightly easier and say that this single event could be described as infamous. Okay, so your second pair of drivers. Second pair of drivers would be Lorraine Carthakayan and Diego Monteiro. Now they were both teammates as well, funnily enough.
Oh,
right.
Okay, so Diego Monteiro. So it's not F1 related.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Is it?
Yes. Yeah.
F1 related. I mean, it can only be. That's why I was trying to think of maybe a breakaway series or something.
So I think there was, but I can't remember anything of that. But I think there was something like an exhibition or a race which they only did once somewhere. But I can't remember where it was.
Okay, let me just. I'll ask you the question again. Okay, we have 6 drivers. 6 drivers.
Okay?
One single event that's infamous.
Yes.
Okay. And the other thing I will say.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, no, I'm waiting for him to finish. I said I know first. I said I know first. I said I know. Yes, and I said I know first. Okay, so let me answer first before you do. I'm waiting for Lucky to finish what he's saying. That's all.
So if it listen, okay, hold on a second. If it's
I say something, then you say something. All right, and we'll see who says it.
And if it's the same one, we split the points.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll go with that. Go. Although I definitely got it. I was first there. But anyway, go ahead, Lucky.
Okay,
Well,
you get the points. Understand, yeah.
Then we'll see. I might be wrong.
No, I think you've probably got it from the six
Yes.
clue that I gave you.
Yeah. The other two would
And
be Schumacher and Barrichello, and it would be the U.S. Grand Prix at Indianapolis.
2005. Absolutely. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, I know. As soon as you said the six, I was like, oh yeah, I know. Six was six. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you go to Discord,
I could remember that Jack Monteiro actually raced an F1. I always knew him from the BTCC thing, the tourist car trophy. Yeah, but makes sense.
Okay, well, the other one, Patrick Fischer.
Yeah,
Fischer, whatever his name is. That's not his name. But anyway, there you go. That's all great.
Yeah.
Okay,
if you go to Discord quickly, you'll see a picture to illustrate the event.
Yeah. Okay, let me do that.
Let people see, and we'll have a quick run through the story, and we've got 4 minutes left.
Yeah, go ahead. You go while I'm doing this.
Okay, the story was that the 2005 U.S. Grand Prix at Indianapolis started with only 6 cars. You're waiting to see the picture here. This was the starting grid of the race.
There was, 2 Minardis, and what was, I can't remember two of the Arabs, the other one.
Those 2 Jordans.
Looks like Jordan.
Oh, the Jordans, 2 Minardis and Jordans, Ferrari, Fair enough.
The Minardis are on the right at the back. Then the left at the back is the Jordans, and of course Schumacher and Barrichello miles up in front.
There was a lot of politics in this one.
Absolutely. The story goes that during practice qualifying, the Michelin tires that the majority of teams were running started failing due to high stresses on the banking, plus the surface of the track had been recut in a groove kind of way, small grooves that had made it really abrasive. And as a result, the Michelin tires were failing, causing a couple of serious accidents, one of which was Ralf Schumacher, who ended up in the wall with his car in bits, basically. So after a lot of toing and froing, the race eventually started with only 6 cars. Those were the 6 Bridgestone runners, Ferrari, Jordan, and Minardi. And the Michelin guys took to the track, did the formation lap, and all headed in for the pits, leaving the spectacle that you see on the screen in front of you there of 6 cars heading up the start of the Grand Prix. The crowd were understandably livid.
They were throwing beer cans on the track and shit.
It was all the French fault.
Well, I tell you what. This was my take at the time, anyway, which was the day before. Of course, in practice, Ralf Schumacher had 2 pretty big crashes. With a tire blowing up coming out of the last corner, and they'd kind of said, well, maybe if we put a chicane in to slow the cars down through that corner, we'll be fine. Ferrari said, no, we're not having this. And in fact, later on, Jordan was hang on. Later on, Jordan was told by Ferrari that he wouldn't get the help with the tires, etc., because Bridgestone were the best tire at the time. So he was kind of forced into it. In fact, Minardi said that they wanted to do it, and then Jordan said, well, because Minardi are doing it and we're in a race at the back with them, we're going to have to race as well. Otherwise, we would pull out. However, really what this came down to was the fact that they relayed the surface of this track without telling Michelin that they'd done so. However, Firestone, obviously being the track owners, knew that this had been done and knew that their tyres would suffice. So the whole thing was a shit show, beginning to end.
What can I say? It was the French fault.
Yes.
There's an interview on YouTube somewhere with Max Mosley talking about this, and he basically says that it was all down to paperwork and the fact that if you put in a chicane, everything about the track would change, and if there was an accident involving somebody in the crowd, the track owners would be liable.
They actually found a very, I think it was a brilliant excuse that they found. And they excuse, and I think it was, I'm not saying it was right, but I think it was brilliant. And they said, if we put a chicane on the track, which has been already vouched by the F1, whatever the fuck, if you change the layout of the circuit, you basically have to homologate again.
Yeah.
So you can't do it during, the session. Which, is it bullshit? Maybe. Is it brilliant? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Is it brilliant because they fucked the French? Fuck yeah. Right? So, yeah, fuck the French.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lucky.
One of the things that really annoyed me about that was Bernie Ecclestone's attitude to the whole thing. Fair enough. It was Michelin's fault that they didn't have the right tires. However, you had a stadium full of people, Formula One fans, who'd paid an absolute fortune to see a Grand Prix race.
Come on, they're fucking Americans. What the fuck do they know? Those are the guys that after 9/11 they called freedom fries because they didn't want to call them French fries. So,
I think also I would just say this a little bit, which is to say that killed F1 in America again, and they forced the Indianapolis to make changes or they wanted Indianapolis to make changes on their track because of the corner before the last. Well, it was too tight for a Formula One car, right? So they couldn't get anywhere near top speed down the oval section, simply because they literally had to put so much downforce on for the slow section. So they said to Indianapolis, "Could you just change that corner?" And normally everyone would be fine, but because there'd been such a shit show there, right? Indianapolis just went, "No, fuck you. We're not bothering with Formula One." They let the contract run out. And that was that. Yeah. Never went back again.
Yeah.
And it was clearly the number one place for Formula One to be racing in America if they wanted to conquer America.
Of course.
And here we are, years later, and they're still scrabbling to get a foothold in America. So, the whole thing was a shit show.
I have a quiz for Lucky.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because you've been so cocky and all this shit. And it's really easy. It's really easy. You should be able to know that. It's really easy. So bear with me. On September the 13th, it's going to be an anniversary. It's going to be 70 years since an Italian won the F1 World Championship. Who was the last Italian to win a World Championship in F1?
The last Italian?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
You're gonna hate me when I tell you.
I don't think it was Jarno Trulli, was it?
No, it wasn't Jarno Trulli. It would have deserved it. Even physically, actually, Alboreto would have deserved it, but never happened.
It's from the old Formula One cars, is it not?
Well, I already told you it's going to be 70 years. So, yeah, it's not recent.
Come on now. Come on. Have a guess.
Come on.
Giuseppe. Is his name Giuseppe something?
No.
I think I know. It was John Lacey.
Yeah. No.
No, I know it. I know who it is because we talked about it earlier. I know. I'm just joking. I'm joking. Okay. It's a joke. Yeah. Don't worry.
Listen, you don't joke with Italian and French, right? So, Alesi actually, his kid is called Giuseppe or Giovanni Alesi, stuff like that. So he's of Italian descent. But
anyway,
really bad French.
So you want one more guess? One more guess from Lucky. Go ahead.
Sorry, are we talking about a champion or a race
Yes,
winner?
world Formula One champion, race world champion.
I will give you a hint. I will show you who this guy is. It's this guy.
Must be a Ascari, surely.
Oh.
Okay, so did you get it? Did you get it then?
Yeah, you get it. It's
He did.
Google.
Okay, I was going to say
Google.
one of the corners in Monza is named after him.
Yeah.
Okay, look, there we go. Thank you very much, everybody. Yep, we're done with that now.
Driver to win the race at Monza. But yeah, okay. So yeah, it's Alberto Ascari.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I got a new message. My crack says, "What a fucking boring race." That's my crack saying that. Okay. All right. Thanks very much, everybody. We're done for the day. Alberto Ascari. Hey, Bub's here. Sorry, I didn't see your message, Bub. Fangio Ascari. Yes, it was Alberto.
I will give point to Bob Elvis because he got it.
Oh yeah. What are the points we're on now? By the way, let me just rub it in a little.
Okay, well, yeah, you both got it on the second pair of drivers. So you get 2 points each, which puts you both on 10.
What the fuck? I said I got it. I said first, and I got it first. No, oh my goodness. Okay, well, 2 points each. There. That's how the rub.
Okay, Samos. Now you know how I felt last time.